Dr. Veronica Esagui is your host for Authors Forum.
With your Streetwise Spirituality, you talk about outer mind and soul mind. What are they?
Outer mind and soul mind I find to be a really easy way to get a handle on what it is we're experiencing in life. And like outer mind is like ego, it's kind of the negative experiences, and soul mind is soul, and it's the positive experiences. And if you think, well, like, okay, if we have the thought, I should shoplift, I want to go shoplift, obviously that's an outer mind thing, it's not so good. But it's not always easy to see the difference between the two. And for example, I had a friend who was a wonderful cook. Oh, she would make the greatest meals, but she never taught her son to boil water. And I asked her, why why don't you share this? And she said, no, I want him to need me. Ooh. I want to be the great cook and give him all these wonderful foods. And I want him never to find a woman who will ever treat him as well as I do. And the problem was that he eventually married a woman just like his mother, and he is still a big dependent baby, and he's 40 years old. And it's really sad because when a parent doesn't teach a child responsibility, then the child stays dependent and wants to continue to have that from the parent. And it's
that's their source of comfort.
Yes.
It's going back to a negative position,
right.
But it's still the comfort zone for them where they grew up with.
It is.
Correct?
Yes, completely.
Yeah. So how do we know whether we are operating out of our mind or soul mind?
It's, in the beginning it's a little difficult, but you begin to realize that soul mind wants everybody to be equal. So when we speak to another person on an equal basis, eye to eye and heart to heart, then we are operating out of soul mind. But when we're competing or we're manipulating, like if I want to get something from you and I don't ask you directly, but I figure out, oh, well, I've just been feeling so badly, I'm wondering if you would mind giving me it's all manipulative. And it comes from fear, the fear that we're not going to get what we want, the fear that we don't control the world around us unless we use these little tools that we developed as children. And that's the whole problem, is that all of these little baby ways that we have, the manipulation, that's a very childish thing. But it was all we had. When you're about that tall, it's really hard to have control over your world. And so maybe you become like a pleaser. And a little child as a pleaser, that can be a very cute thing. And you think, oh, she's so sweet, and you give her this hug, and you think, oh. But when you get to be an adult, and you're still trying to please, trying to manipulate other people into giving you love and security, it doesn't work, because what the soul wants is for us to come from love, to grow in love, and to be equal with one another and respectful. Manipulation is deeply disrespectful. It doesn't say, well, you have a right to think or feel as you wish. It says, I want, and you're going to give me. And that's not healthy.
Right. Wow. You're so knowledgeable. I'm just taken by the way you talk. I understand why you have a radio show. So a lot of people call you with these kind of problems for your advice?
We haven't been doing a lot of call-ins because I often interview authors of wonderful books that people can really benefit from. And sometimes I do some of the teaching. But I haven't done much with the call-ins. I'm thinking later on I will.
Yeah, that would be an incredible service to offer that. Don't we see a lot of out of mind with couples?
Oh, absolutely. I think probably the most recognizable one is one that says, if you really loved me. So like say, if you really loved me, you'd take me to Paris. Well, this is connecting with the outer mind's conditional love, saying that for me to love you, you have to do what I want you to do. And it's like, say that you don't have the money for that, but you're on the spot, because if you don't take this partner to Paris, then you may lose him or her, and we don't want to lose somebody we love. And so we sometimes do things that are not wise for us to do, but it's because we're being pushed by this outer mind, and the outer mind is always fearful. So There's a fearfulness to the person who says, if you really loved me, want to see, you show me how much you love me. But the other person is saying, well, I guess I've got to find a way, because otherwise it's all going to blow up, and this person is the person that I want for life.
Right.
So we hurt ourselves a lot by coming from outer mind. And the more we recognize the two, like soul mind is compassionate, soul mind is kind, it's generous, it gives people the benefit of the doubt. It's the good stuff. Mm-hmm. It's when you feel really peaceful and happy and loving inside, and you're not trying to get something from somebody else. You're just able to live your life and let others live their lives with mutual respect, mutual discovery. To me, that's one of the biggest things with love, is mutual discovery. Is not just saying, this is the way things are, this is how I am, but with another person, you can have this constant learning experience, and that's deeply spiritual.
Maybe a lot of politicians should be reading your book. Some of the presidents, some of the so-called different governments of the world that are always fighting and bickering with each other should read your book and understand maybe the reason why they're so out of body, out of mind, out of their minds.
Yes, well, one of the things that I do think about is peace.
Mm-hmm. And
we wonder about how we can create peace in our lives or peace in the world. And it's a moment-by-moment thing. I see it because when we get all caught up in impatience and being really upset with other people, it's like it's an emotional pollution. And this goes out. It touches other people. And other people are affected by it. And it goes on and on and on. Whereas if we start from love and respect and trying to be as good as we can be, that also reaches out and it cleans things up and it helps to make a little more world peace in our little corner.
Mm-hmm. What does the soul's voice sound like? Can you?
That's a very interesting topic. The soul's voice is very soft. We all know what the outer mind's voice is like. Yammer, 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 yammer. The soul's voice. The soul wants to give us free will because we don't learn if we don't have free will. When someone says, you do such and such, well, maybe I'll do it, but I don't learn from it. What I learn is to avoid whatever problem was going to come to me if I didn't do it. Right. You sometimes will have like a sentence will come into your mind, and I've had that. I remember some time back when I was having problems with a boyfriend, and I was all upset. I was walking around my apartment and crying. Oh, well, he's not what I want him to be. He's not doing what I want him to do. He's just, he's doing what he wants to do. That doesn't work. And I had prayed earlier that day because I was really upset. I'd prayed for some kind of enlightenment on it. Nothing happened. So I was in a closet, and there was a light bulb, and it had blown out. I thought, one more thing, my poor life, sad me. So I go to the closet, and I have this light bulb in my hand, and suddenly this sentence comes into my head, and it says, deal with what's in front of you. And I thought, deal with what's in front of me? That's really strange. I don't understand that. That doesn't sound like an answer to my prayer. But then I thought, well, what's in front of me? This light bulb. And there's this empty socket. So I put the light bulb in, and there was light. Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's the answer.
Wow.
That's the answer.
So what if we don't listen? What happens?
Most of us don't.
Most of us don't.
We're absolute masters of avoidance. And we just go on, not listening. And the soul is patient. The soul is infinitely patient. Eventually, we will listen, and we will do it.
Can you give us a list of the shoulds?
Oh,
or what is the shoulds? Where do the shoulds come from? And why don't shoulds work?
I love the shoulds. Well, they're the negative core beliefs that we carry with us from childhood. Again, all that stuff from childhood. There's like, I should do everything perfectly. And there's, I should please everyone. And the other half of that is, I should please everyone in order to get love and security. And another one is, the world should do everything to suit me. And that one creates a lot of trouble because we see that one everywhere.
So how would the pleaser heal herself or himself?
A pleaser, it's difficult because a pleaser has been doing this from an early point in life. But once a pleaser understands that you cannot manipulate others into giving you what you need, you can only connect with who you are. When you start from that, then you're going to be all right. But it takes a while. You know, it's nothing. None of these can be changed overnight. Perfectionism or being a bully or any of the other things, it's not instant. It's saying, this is what I want, and reminding yourself every time it comes up. Like with a perfectionist, the truth of it is we can't do anything perfectly. Only the soul has perfection to it. So what is it we can tell ourselves if we have this urge toward perfectionism? We can say, well, you know, I can make progress. This I can do. And this is respectful to the self. Because otherwise, with a perfectionist, when you're really into it, and I know because I lived this way, if you start to get too close to the goal that you set for yourself, you'll set it a little further out because you're not supposed to get it. Mm-hmm. A perfectionist has to make himself or herself miserable. Wow. And it's only by focusing on progress and just saying, yes, I was able to go this far yesterday. It wasn't very far, but it was better than the day before. And that's how you build on it. And pleasers too, it's a matter of doing it over and over and understanding that you're not going to get what you're most hungering for by reaching outside and saying, please give me, give me, give me. Mm. It's instead recognizing what you have and coming from that and finding real peace with that.
So someone that was to read Streetwise Spirituality, Carol Marleigh Kline, would they sit down and read straight through, or would you advise them to read a certain amount of pages each time, or how would the reader read this book?
Okay, I think that's a very helpful question. The beginning part, about the first 50 pages, this lays everything out. It talks about Earth School, talks about the shoulds, it talks about what love is and is not, mm-hmm. and what it is that we may want to do in terms of
it's alive.
Yes, it is. Of connecting our experiences to spirituality and doing that on a regular basis. The second part is the 28 days. And so that should be done one day at a time.
One day at a time, yes.
So that you have the time to absorb the information and live with it. Because the exercises, there's something in the morning, there's something in the afternoon, and there's something in the evening. So it's a period of dedication to our own growth. And it takes that, you can't just whip through it.
So Carol, do you have any plans for future publications?
I do. I'm writing, yes, yeah. I'm in the process of writing another book, and this one will be more specifically about love, because I've learned a lot more about that. And it's love as when we think of it as a healthy thing, and then when we pursue it and it's not healthy. So it's going to be having to deal with the light and the shadow of love.
Wow. I like that.
Thank you.
I think we all need a little bit more of love in the world for everyone. But yes. Understanding what love is, you must read Streetwise Spirituality. And where can people find your book?
On Amazon.
On Amazon.com?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Well, Carol, it was a pleasure having you here at the Authors Forum. So thank you for being here. And until the next time, have a most inspiring week. And till I see you again for the Authors Forum.